Thanks for coming out today. My name is Mike Payne, and I'm going to be talking about the psychology behind web design. Now, a lot of designers will already use a lot of the tactics that I'll talk about today because they've kind of become standards in web design, but a lot of times they won't understand the meaning behind them. And if you understand how your mind is going to interpret these things, both consciously and subconsciously, you can use it more effectively and kind of plan out your sites better. So, let's start talking about the brain. Susan Weinschenk, in one of her books, describes how your brain works. She says you're so smart, you have 3 brains, not just one. You have an old brain, a mid-brain, and a new brain. So the old brain is going to be kind of this section down here, and that's the part that handles all of your subconscious instincts. It handles the part that controls when you breathe, when you pump blood. It's the part of your brain that is always looking for food and keeping an eye out for danger. So that motivation is primarily just around sustaining your life. The midbrain is going to be the part kind of in the middle, that green-yellow part. And that is where all of your emotions take place. It's the part that feels happy or sad. And the motivation in that part of your brain can change from time to time depending on what emotions you're feeling. Now, it is also subconscious. That means that these 2 older brains, the old and mid, are both subconscious. You don't know what is going on inside of those. The new brain, which is more towards this red section in here, is actually the conscious part. It's the part that's listening to me talk right now. It's the part that's scrolling through Twitter on your laptop. And it's the part that thinks that it's being logical and it's making its own decisions, when in reality it's being completely controlled by the 2 other brains. So a good persuasion expert can take all 3 of those parts of the brain and manipulate them together to influence their visitors. There are many, many, many people out there that have delved into the psychology of influence and persuasion, and there's kind of a set of standard persuasion triggers and tactics that we can use and apply to web design. The first one is really common. It's called reciprocity. And there's 2 ways to kind of look at this: reward and reciprocate. Now, a lot of times you'll go to a website and you'll see that there's a free download, but you have to like the page in order to get to it. This unlocks something. And the idea behind this is that you're engaging them, and then you're reciprocating the action. Now, Luciano Gambarini did a study on this, specifically in web design, and he found that reciprocity outperforms reward as a strategy when it comes to collecting valid user contact data. And the keyword there is valid. I'm guilty of this, as I'm sure many of you are. Whenever you go to one of these sites and it asks you for an email before you can submit a lead, I just type in adsf@adsf.com or email@example. And those leads go through. I get what I wanted, but there's no incentive for me to really give them anything valid. Reciprocity, on the other hand, when you just give it to them for free, as soon as they hit the site, you hand them the white paper or the infographic or whatever valuable information that you can give them, they'll feel a feeling of indebtedness. And this happens subconsciously in their old and mid brains, and they have an inner feeling to give back to you. So they saw a huge rise whenever they just handed out the white paper, the infographic, and then asked them if they could like the page or submit an email or even just tweet about it. They went through the roof. And there's some thought behind this. Richard Leakey describes reciprocity as being the sole influence of humans being different than animals. The thought behind this is that eons ago, there were hunters and there were gatherers, and at some point, they traded. The hunters give some meat to the gatherers, and the gatherers gave some vegetables or potatoes or something back. And this feeling of reciprocity over time created this network of obligation. If I give you something, you feel obligated to return that favor and give something back to me. So we can apply this to the web pretty easily, usually through white papers and infographics, something valuable, but it has to be valuable. If they feel like it's trash or it's a waste of their time to download it, it doesn't have a big of an effect. This infographic is actually describing reciprocity, and in doing so, gets you to share it and enact in the favor of reciprocity. So it's kind of like a meta infographic in and of itself. The next one we can talk about is consistency. So your inner feelings are going to be to maintain the same personality throughout your life. You want to be who you are. There's two scientists, Jonathan Friedman and Scott Fraser, went around in 1966, I believe, through a California neighborhood knocking door to door. And they asked each resident if they would be okay if they built a giant billboard in front of their house that just said, "Drive safely." It wasn't very well constructed. They had a picture of it. It was kind of ugly, and it was in front of this beautiful house in Southern California. Amazingly, they actually got 17% that said yes. Just walking door to door and asking. They had two other groups, though, where they tested this feeling of consistency and commitment, where a couple weeks before, in Group B, they had sent another volunteer to ask about putting a 3-inch sticker in the back of the residents' cars that said, "Keep California beautiful." Then, whenever they came back 3 weeks later, a different set of volunteers asked them if they could build the billboard. They got upwards of 50% acceptance, meaning there's a huge incline of people that felt obligated to maintain that persona that they had agreed to before, where they wanted to keep California beautiful, and that meant they cared about the community. All of this is subconscious, and they felt more inclined to have this big billboard built right next to them. Group C was outstanding. Instead of a 3-inch sticker that said, "Keep California beautiful," it said exactly, "Drive safely." And that built a bigger connection. So when they agreed to have this sticker early on, later whenever they were approached about building something bigger and a bigger commitment, they felt a bigger urge to say yes. And they got upwards of 78%. Just awesome. But how can we apply that to web design? And the way we do that is often through the social atmosphere that connects websites now. So Facebook and Twitter, if we can get them to interact with your site early on by liking it or leaving a blog post or a blog comment, connecting with your site and connecting that persona to themselves will help them later on to whenever you start digging into e-commerce or asking them to share more pages on the site, they already have that feeling of, oh, I'm a person who interacts with this page. I'm a person who agrees with the concepts of this blog. And it's easier for them to share that out. This is coupled with another psychological tactic called commitment. And when we cultivate these commitments, it makes you bond stronger to the brands and the individual websites. So if you were to leave a product review, positive or negative, it actually helps you bond with the system that's collecting the reviews. So if you're a person that leaves great reviews on Google Places, or every time you go to a restaurant you review it, your inner mind is going to consistently try and bring that back up. So whenever you go eat at an amazing restaurant, you're going to subconsciously think, oh, this is great. I should blog about this when I get home. If you write a positive review about a product, that commitment to the product strengthens as well. So we can interact with our clients or our visitors a lot more on our websites if we can invoke product reviews, blog comments, Even having them compete in contest submissions helps them bond to your website a lot more. This is one of the best examples that I could come up with. And they're starting to pop up a lot more. Even within WordPress, you can switch out the default WordPress blog comment functionality for Facebook comments. And just having these on your page makes them connect with it a lot more. They're more likely to leave a comment. They see their face there, and they realize that this comment is connected to them. They're committing to sharing something personal and having that connected to them personally. So you're going to see a lot higher quality of comments whenever you switch it out and have Facebook interaction with that. You're going to see more relevant comments, a lot less spammy stuff because it's actually tied back to their own accounts. So it's a lot harder to send out a bunch of spam bots and flood pages that are collecting their comments through Facebook. There's several plugins, a lot of themes will do this for you. They'll have some options in the back end that you can toggle it on and off.
Jetpack's got Twitter and Facebook integration.
Yeah, so Jetpack is installed natively on a lot of new one-click installs of WordPress. So it also makes it the sharing on it automated. Whenever I leave a comment on someone's blog through Facebook, it posts it to my wall. All of my friends can see it. They can post on the same article through Facebook. It sends them a link to the actual article and helps socially spread your content a lot faster. Typo there, that should say easier. It's easier to make that commitment because you don't have to type in your email every time. If they're logged into Facebook, it pulls up automatically. So the third trio of these, so we have consistency and commitment. We can tie that in again with social proofs. So just like the Facebook commenting, tweeting whenever they download something from your site, sharing that with other people online, their friends, someone they know, increases the amount of downloads that you'll get or visitors to your site. And you'll see a lot more consistent and valuable clients come through. So social proofs, there's two ways to do this. There's both product proofs and experience proofs. Product proofs would be like Amazon reviews, and experiences would be more like Google Places reviews. So both of these see an increase of sales whenever they're utilized. So on a website that sells e-commerce solutions or physical products, having those reviews on the pages and having that visibly displayed whenever the person lands on the site showed a 20% increase in volume sold. So compared to other products that didn't have any reviews on them, so a blank out of 5-star review compared to a 5 out of 5-star review, or even a 4 or 3, just having that review somewhat positive helped push those products a lot faster. With experiences, they tested it through a tourism destination site. So you go on and you pick out places that you want to go on vacation, and you can buy packages through this site. They saw a 10% increase in sales here, so not as strong as the product review, but they could get it up to 20% if they included a photo of the reviewer. So one more thing on this. These are very powerful subconsciously, but if the reviews seem to be fake or inconsistent, it alerts your conscious mind and you start noticing things on it more and you start becoming suspicious. So on Google reviews, there's been a lot of heat about the validity of Google reviews. And I'll show you some examples in just a second. Some other ways that, so it's not just products, but actually videos or any content online You can rate, you can thumb up, thumb down YouTube videos, and it shows you, it gives you an influence on how good that video is. So this one has over 2 million views, and a majority of the people that voted on it liked it. So subconsciously, as soon as you see that major green bar and tiny red dot, those are standard colors, and you're understanding that this video was liked and accepted by a majority of the people that watched it. Some other things are Amazon reviews. As soon as you see anything having to do with the product, they tag on a star review and how many reviews it has. So here it's got 4.5 stars. And then you click into the page and it shows you a bigger graph of everything that's, all of those 38 reviews that are brought into it. You can even use it to influence them. You can give them incentive to like your page. So this is more of the reward. Although it's not as strong as reciprocity, it's still significant in this case. So they're handing out free shipping, but they saw a significant increase in social acceptance. So they saw a lot more likes and tweets and +1s just by handing that out. And then that shares that to all of their friends and gets that movement of social viralness going. This is an example of like fake Google reviews. There are a lot of companies out there that used to go through and just leave positive reviews on all of your profiles, hoping to get higher ranked through Google or a better acceptance. So this one is a guy that left 4 different reviews for 4 different car companies saying that he bought a car at each one of them. So obviously he didn't buy 4 different cars. So someone kind of caught on and realized that this isn't valid feedback. So whenever you see a lot of really outstanding reviews or anything that would kind of seem out of the ordinary, your conscious mind can latch onto that and disregard all of the reviews that you're seeing. It can make you skeptical and actually make you trust the website that you're on less, not just the product. So this is a good review. This is a review of the iPhone 5 that just came out yesterday. 5 out of 5 stars on everything. And this is a good example of how your conscious mind tries to understand what your unconscious mind is telling you. So you see all these great reviews and your unconscious mind is telling you that you want to be like everyone else. You want to like this product. Everyone else enjoys it. You should too. Your conscious mind is looking for more details. So having these graphs here gives your conscious brain, your new brain, a reason to understand it a little bit more. So you want to feel like you're getting a good quality phone that has good picture life, good battery life. And by seeing those reviews kind of broken down, you can internally kind of negotiate that you're making a conscious decision rather than an unconscious decision. You want to feel like you're in control. So having it broken down into sections that they can grasp consciously and compare against each other helps a lot. Another good, so this was on Amazon. One of the great things that they do is they don't just tell you about the product, they tell you about who's reviewing it. So this specific account didn't have a photo uploaded, but if they did, the impact of the review would have gone up significantly, up to double in the experience reviews that we were talking about earlier. It also tells you this section here about me. So this allows you to make a bigger connection to the person that's giving the review. Maybe you find some similarities between yourself and them. Maybe your phone is your life. You're a heavy texter. Maybe you fall in between the age range, so you feel like you have a better understanding of how they are looking at the technology. So having that profile of not just what the product review was like, but who was reviewing it. Speaking of the iPhone 5, next tactic we can talk about is scarcity. So every iPhone release that comes out, they never say, we will have plenty for everyone. Whoever orders it is going to get one the first day it comes out. They always implement the theory that there's not enough. So we'll ship out a bunch, as many as we can, but you might not be able to get it the first time. You might have to wait a couple weeks. So you want to go out and pre-register and pre-order it as soon as you can. They tell you you can pre-order on Wednesday, it'll ship out next Friday. You're lining up at the door Tuesday to get your phone the following week. And they've done this 5 or 6 times, and it always works. Your brain is feeling that if there's limited quantity, it must be a popular item. Everyone wants it. And if it's popular, it's good quality. It must be good. There's a reason everyone else wants it. So you want it too. There are certain phrases that you can implement on your websites that can trigger this feeling of urgency that they want to buy it now rather than later, or possibly not at all. And those phrases are like, there's only X left. There's a limited time only, or gone forever in blank time. And these are great tactics as long as they're followed up with an action. So there's only 3 left in the store, buy now. Going out of business in a week, order today. And that following statement of do this is more well received than if you had just put that on your site normally. There's no scarcity. It's just you should buy it today. Yeah.
So just a warning, if you do this, make sure you do it legit, because if you go to a static page that says we only have 6 left, you go there a month later and it still only has 6 left.
Yeah.
It backfires on you and it doesn't work. So if you're going to do it, have a legit way of doing it.
Yeah, if I buy something, it says
bogus testimonials.
Yeah, exactly. It's something.
They'll say only 2 tickets left.
Oh yeah.
But if you go back, there's always 2 tickets.
As soon as you buy it, you check out, come back, and there's 2 more tickets that opened up. Yeah, so that's a good example of how your conscious mind can outweigh the impact of your unconscious decisions. That scarcity tactic works really well unconsciously. But if you notice something fishy is going on, suddenly you back out of your decision entirely. And not only does your trust for the product itself, but the company that's giving it to you goes down.
Yeah, I bought my ticket for work camp yesterday, and there were 7 tickets left. When I went back, there were 8.
Really? I don't know how that would have happened. We can talk to Joseph. So here are some good examples. There's only 2 left in stock. Order soon! Exclamation point. It's telling you not just that you should order, but you should do it now rather than later, or possibly not at all. This one for Donkey Kong. There's only 1 left. If you want to spend an amazing $1,000 on a 17-year-old video game, you should do it now. And this bottom one is for one of my favorite T-shirt stores, Ripped Apparel. They only have 1 shirt a day. So they're constantly issuing a scarcity tactic. If you don't buy the shirt today, it will not be there tomorrow. It goes into a graveyard, and you can never buy that shirt from them again. You order it now, and they'll print it out and ship it in 2 weeks. But they only print enough to fill the orders that they have. So they have a better control over their stock as well. So they can control how many shirts they buy and print, and they'll never have any leftovers. So they always have a countdown timer in the top of their website that says, this is gone forever in 23 hours. So you should buy it now rather than wait till later.
What's the name of that website?
Ripped Apparel, RIPT Apparel. .com. They have really cool shirts that fit like gamers. I got one a couple weeks ago for Thorios. So it's like a cereal box for Thor from the Avengers. It's pretty cool. And I think they're only like $10. So the next tactic is implementing similarity to your visitors. I told you guys that a lot of web designers will utilize these without understanding completely behind it. It's pretty good common knowledge that you should know who your target market is and try and gear towards them. But not only should you gear towards them, but you should make your website, any people on it, more attractive and similar to them, you're much more likely to purchase or interact with someone that you find attractive. Even if it's a stock photo on a website, you're connecting that visual with the actual entity of the website itself. And like those product reviews and Google reviews, if you expand out and show some similarities between you and the person that reviewed it, similar interests, usage styles on your phone, if you're a heavy texter or you download a ton of apps, that makes you connect with that review a lot more because you feel like it's more tuned into what you are feeling or how you would interpret the product. Celebrity endorsements can be good or bad. So if your target market feels like they are really connected to a certain celebrity, having Justin Bieber sponsor your CD store might be a good thing. But if Justin Bieber goes out and does something stupid the next day, that can have a negative impact on people's interpretation of you. So similarity can be very good subconsciously, and I can't think of a way to really bring that to someone's attention consciously. But having just attractive people on your website increases it, and trying to tune in on exactly who your visitors are and gearing your content towards them. And one of the last tactics is our brain is very self-centered. It's not very often that we think about other people, and especially subconsciously, we are always looking out for ourselves. This applies most directly to copywriting. So I'll read you two sentences or two paragraphs from a site, one before it was edited and the other after it was edited to focus on you. This software has many built-in features that allows for photos to be uploaded, organized, and stored. Photos can be searched for with only a few steps. So this is before. It's a great sentence. It tells you the benefits of the product that they're trying to sell you and how it can be applied to you. So this is the second phrase. You can upload your photos quickly, organize them in a way you want, and store them so that they are easily shared with your friends. You can find any photo with only a few steps. So seeing them side by side, you can kind of tell the impact that it could have. But on a site where you didn't have any phrases like the top one, you were entirely centered around the individual user, can have a big impact. They feel like it's more targeted towards them and that the site is reaching out to them. They can feel themselves using your product. They can feel themselves uploading photos and sharing it with their friends. It doesn't just say they can be organized and stored, but it gives them a reason to want to organize and store them, to share with their friends and become more popular and awesome. So those are some basic tactics. There are a lot of books and articles out there that talk about these in depth and together. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
I just had to throw this in. Back to your similarity comments, you also have to be careful with that one as well. Once upon a time, I worked for a company where we had a stock photo up on the homepage. It was a nice-looking girl in glasses. She looks halfway intelligent with a smile. And we had a customer email us after we had used the stock photo for years and informed us that, that's my ex-wife. I don't know if you want to be using her as a stock photo. Here's some links to where she's participated in some adult entertainment.
Oh.
The world's a lot smaller than you think.
Yeah, so
GoDaddy uses that, but
exactly.
So I guess if you were to do some research on your stock photos, they might be popular actresses. You never know. But yeah, that ties a lot more into celebrity endorsement. In that instance, he was probably the only person that knew about that. But with celebrities, stuff like that gets leaked out into the press, and it becomes a lot more obvious whenever they're sponsoring something. That connection between the two can be a lot more strong.
Same thing, I've run into it on weight loss sites, when I build weight loss sites for people. They use stock photos, and they see it on 3 other weight loss sites. People who are searching, they're looking at all these other weight loss sites.
Yeah.
Stock photography, it throws your credibility right out the window.
Yeah.
The other is live chat operator.
Oh, yeah.
Buttons. I've had people actually comment and say, so using a real picture of a real person.
Yeah, so that's a good instance where you'd want to be unique. Not just know your clients, but know who your competition is, and kind of target towards who's going to be on your site, knowing that they're going to be looking at that other stuff. The live chat is actually an interesting scenario. If it's kind of an automated dummy sequence, it can have a very negative effect on your company's perception, or the perception of your company. If you have actual people that are on chat 24/7 and know what they're doing, the perception of your company can go way up. Bluehost, for example, has amazing chat support. If I ever have a question, I can hop on there and just chat them instantly. It's a real person. They're down in Provo. Yeah.
Just another thing on live chat, you're triggering all these things in my head. What I've found on my sites, when they have live chat during business hours or their live chat is sporadic, I'll actually hide the button instead of showing live chat offline, because I found it's better to have no live chat than to have a live chat button that's offline.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it only shows, even if they're only on live chat for 3 hours a day, during those 3 hours, productivity goes up and conversions go up. But when they're off of live chat, or they don't have enough manpower for it, I'd rather just totally hide the button and show it offline.
Yeah, showing them something that they can't have. In that case, doesn't trigger a scarcity. It triggers a feeling of like being left out. Like, oh, they have this awesome feature, but it's funky, it's not working. The trust in the site goes down. Anyone else? Okay. Well, thanks. My name is Mike Payne, and this has been Psychology of Web Design.